42-day banners. What would I tell you if instead of the current 21-day duration, double? Character and 2 banners per version, which makes every version that lasts 42 days. A month and almost half an additional month and 4 characters per version? Now it is said, and many have me asked what they think of the subject, that Mavuika and Citlali will be the first project between the quotes of characters whose banners last 42 days per version. Let us remember first point, that the regional banner of Mondstadt was not a success and did not return, with which this did not. Is to be a permanent thing or really just want to test and see if this really today people help or positively affects you players, but I think you can. So leave a good like, a good ulti of VNed, subscribe, leave a good comment for the with. Thanks for watching video and channel. It costs nothing, is wholly free, recommends and positions of video. Hey, thank you. And remember that only for that reason do you participate in the drawing of a lunar blessing. A day with something totally free that doesn't cost you anything, which is to comment for the algorithm Sinius, a like to the video, subscribe with bell, enjoy if you are eating. Well, and we're going to talk about the 42-day banners. Is that it is said that it is going to test that the promotional characters of each version last 42 days and it's usually going to be new characters, that is, it's not going to always be, and it won't always be 2. In this case, Citlali and Mavuika are new characters, and then there will be a second re-roll category or banner. How can this happen or be implemented, and how can it affect the view? Since I think you all agree on what there is, characters like Shenge, Ryotasli, Ganyu, and some others who haven't come so long. People really wonder about them or if they have forgotten about them. And in the networks is the Diao. And I'm not talking about Shenge, I'm talking about Happy Ryotasli. Well, this is basically the first thing to comment on. Today we have 2 doubles. 21-day banners each, bringing 4 characters per version. It is very easy, very simple, and people who have been in Genshin for a few months understand how the banner works. Of course, here's a video on the channel that will be here on screen explaining the banners with everything in depth and the important comments if when this change comes you want me to act on a guide explaining all the details of the banners in depth for you to understand. What's going to happen? Number 1, that there will be 2 banners of Mavuika and Citlali that last 42 days, with which, if you want to maintain that there are 4 characters per version, there will be another banner. A third banner that lasts 21 and 21, with which already base the list of banners that you will be seeing. Up there where the banners are, which there are about 4 squares now, would increase to 5. Not only that, but there's also a gun banner that should last 42 days. A new gun banner, one that lasts 42 days, and a banner apart from these characters that will. What are they gonna do? They're gonna put 3 guns in the gun banner and they're gonna come back. Nerfing the divine path they previously buffed in the sense of, and here comes the first problem of what I explained in this video. That Serbian title, this brings several problems that I don't think will help, and people will get pretty angry if they don't do it right. What are you going to do? Are you going to keep the weapons banner, or are you going to put 2 weapons banners in? They generate, as I say, 2 problems for people. Problem number 1 that is not so serious and you can. Now I'll explain to you how it could be fixed. Basically in this tab where there are now 4 banners, possibly now after this change have some way to insert 6 or more banners. And this can distract a lot of people. It can stun, it can cause, say, hey, I work information in what I shoot, what I do. How many characters? When they share PT, when they don't share PT. Now, more or less, it's clear. You can make a mental scheme of 3 different banners that are the permanent blue desires, the weapons you don't touch, it's very bad. Promotional and character desires. Even if they are 2 different characters, well, it's known that you share PT and you can choose which one, who already understood the banners before because he knows it. But when in that tab, instead of 3 mentally structured, there are 6 or 7 banners that are going to happen. Now I'm talking about it, and the second problem is, and if now in the weapons banner not to put 6 banners or 7, make there are 3 promotional weapons instead of 2, that would hurt players and people. He's gonna be mad and he's gonna see fun, cause there were 2 guns with a little girl before. Possibility of losing the 50-50, putting out a permanent weapon. A lot of people sometimes said, now there's only one path, one divine path point with which it might be okay if I lose the 50-50 with the other gun from the gun banner that suits me. To a character, and then already on the path I win the gun and I spend 70 and 70, 140 approximately 40. Secure a gun from the gun banner. If you now put 3 guns on many occasions, the win-win. If you've lost 50-50 with the weapon that's against the one you've got now, there's only 2 of them. You're gonna miss it. And while they gave a small benefit on the anniversary, at 5, to reduce the path. And another solution, finishing this theme, to what I could. It happens apart from having 80,000 banners. It's that on Star Rail there's a banner where you can choose. Because there are several options and several rare-ins, and that can happen with the character's banner. And it's a possible solution not to put you up here on the tab 85,000 banners and that people. But with the weapons banner, how could you fix it? They might not bring certain weapons and say, okay, of the 3 characters in force, for example, Mavueka. Let's say Arlecchino, what weapon don't we bring? Don't we bring Arlecchino's gun? Impossible, they're going to bring her in, of course. Don't we bring Mavueka's gun? Imagine there's a banner of Mavueka, a 42-day Citlali, and a banner. How is the arms banner organized? There would be 2 different weapons banners. One of Arlecchino's gun and a permanent weapon, and they'd screw you up. Banner with a weapon of Mavueka and Citlali. One banner with the 3 weapons that of Arlecchino, Citlali, and Mavueka. And this can, as I say, bring a problem, and then everything has a solution. You can think, and maybe Hoyovers tries within what should not harm thee. But being Hoyovers, you know how they're gonna act. And here comes the other problem that even bigger, but we can also come up with a solution. Information in the leaks apart from that of the 42 days. And that is, if currently we already have 4 characters with this change from 2 banners lasting 42 days, I imagine they're going to want to keep the 4 characters with all the above mentioned. The idea is that in no case, there would be only 3 characters per version or less, and that at best there would be more. 4, and every change to the banner would make there were 5 characters for banners, and some would say, no Phil, my protogemas of course, but we're at a point where there's already so many characters, and you have heard me repeat as a heavy that there are 100 characters already practically in Genshin, already counting on Mavueka, Citlali to come out and so on, that we need more characters to come back. And what can happen here? Number 1. That instead of really thinking about that rotation, be faster to return faster of the characters, so that in the end there is more. And there are no characters who haven't come like Shen for a year and a half. They could make that while there are 2 permanent banners in quotation marks of 42 days in the version. The banner that rotates instead of being a broken character every 21 days, were 3 characters that rotated. Every 13 days, 13.1 hours longer than 42, which is a full version, and we had Mavueka and then Citlali all there say the 42 days throughout the entire version, and then we have Arlecchino. 13 days, then the 13 days that change Chlorinde, 13 more days, and for example, after Xinyun, 13 more days, and so the characters can come back. I say Arlecchino, Xinyun, and Chlorinde, I can say Rayosley, Shen, Xianyu, and all those who are missing by. What happens is that Cryo isn't going to sell now, because you already know that it is not used practically. There, we saw very few times where they give the possibility to play the Permafrost, which are the best teams of these characters, Raya Vesely and the Goal. Melted Over Burn in NATLAN has not finished curing so much. Maybe it improves with La Conte as a support or sub-DPS, but many people will play it as a carry because they love carries. In Carry's Impact, the players of Carry's Impact. So this is a very important point. Give us characters that last 42 days, which I imagine this is for people to say is Larconte. I can't lose it and squeeze every last protogem in the version or be tempted. The cone, the C2, the weapon that is very good, instead of it last only 21 days, and say, okay, I already lost the character, now I get organized with the next ones that come and interest me. Account? I know that Hoyoverse benefits him from keeping the temptation 42 days, but also Hoyoverse benefits him. Would benefit and would not harm players so much that we had 5 or 6 characters for. Vilna, sometimes it was talked about the triple banners. Maybe this can be an idea of the triple banners, but you have to focus on everything, not that making this change of 42 days can generate 80,000 problems for people. But in that really changes are beneficial, let's say. Since Hoyoverse money is money, money is money, learn something money, it's a company and it just wants to generate. So obviously every change must have a positive impact on Hoyoverse. Well, not so much a 42-day banner, but bring in characters that rotate faster. Not so much banners, and people finally get a mess when they see all that, and they don't. You understand when you share pity, when you don't, when you share weapons, when this, when the other thing. When it changes, but it's really easy that maybe it's a single banner where you can choose between 3 characters with a small check similar to the Divine Path, and you throw that banner so that don't accumulate many banners. Have a banner from Citroën and Moika, as well as a check. Choose Citroën and Moika, and the weapons. Please that they do not harm the players, because what's in there right now is pretty decent, and I smell it coming that they're gonna put 3 guns in. It's probably gonna happen because they're not gonna put 2 guns in and this stuff to people. Besides, you have to focus on bringing in more characters by version, and not that some characters last longer to tempt and heat people, so that they will then run out of resources and tiny cry. So little more. Let me in the comments, what do you think? Because the truth is that concretely at this point I see that if you don't bring it structured and on, will generate problems and again will generate funas, especially with a topic as important as it is the banner, which is the main mechanics of the game. There are where the characters are the fundamental pillar of Genshin Impact, and I hope it won't happen. I know, but let people also know how to explain if you have discontent in an organized way. You're watching this video and you're saying yes, of course, Phil. What do you think it's not gonna work out like it's always gonna be? This is what I've seen, and this is the first thing I've thought about because I think it can bring big problems, but well, I've come up with solutions in the video. I hope Hoyoverse doesn't think he sees it, but at least think carefully about the next step you're going to take with the banner, because it can bring great changes for good or bad. Thanks. Like to video, subscribe, with bell, commentary for the algorithm, and you know that only for that reason you participate. For a blessing and Mavuika Sitlalista around the corner and you will be missing. Protogamers, look me in the eye of the video camera. You are going to lack protogamers, and you know it. Little more. Taken care of a lot. Have a very good day, I don't know. Sanchaito.